What is the opposite of a baby name that is elegant, flowy, and sophisticated? I'm gonna tell you, but this video is for those of you who love to laugh and who find humor in everything. People who are dreamers and who love whimsical things, and people who just don't take life too seriously. These are the baby names for you. Today we are going to be doing baby names that evoke fun. Like, I'm talking unbridled joy. Names that are fun and fresh and cool sounding, that make you smile, that make you laugh. And often these names are a bit of a nickname because they give off a really relatable vibe. They're laid back names. Basically the opposite of me. I have 10 boy and 10 girl names for you guys to look at. And then I would love to hear in the comments like your favorite more fun and whimsical type baby names. Up first for boys, we have the name Elfie. I love this name so much. It makes me think of Archie and how that's catching on as a first given name instead of Archer. But Elfie is oh so cute. It feels very chill and laid back. It's definitely less stuffy and sophisticated than a name like Alfred, but it would honor somebody in your family that had that name. So what do you guys think of Elfie? I'm spitting. And then for girls, my first name is Blossom. I think this is such a beautiful name. I can't help but get all warm inside and smile when I think of Blossom. Those of you born in the 80s might remember the show Blossom. This is just a really pretty floral name that has a good beginning, middle, and end. It feels like a very complete name, but how stunning and floral and beautiful sounding is Blossom. The second name I have for boys is Bobby. Bobby is a cool kid for sure. Bobby is retro, vintage, but there is nothing boring about the name Bobby. You might think of Robert and Bob and be like, those are a little bit more classic, maybe dated, a little bit more boring, shall we say. But Bobby, there is something just so adorable and cute, and you can't not smile when you're thinking about Bobby. Okay, I dare you. And next on my list for girls, I have Cricket. Now wait, hold on before you panic. Yes, it's an animal, and usually I would suggest it as a nickname for Christine or Christina, but then I thought, no, this is about things that are fun, and crickets are fun, and jumping, and animal names like bear and fox for boys. Why can't we have Cricket for girls? Why don't we see any more people using the name Cricket? It is so cute. I think it's underrated, and I would love to see this name actually becoming used more often in the future. I'm really curious if you guys would ever consider using the name Cricket. Let me know. My next name for boys is Huey. Oh, I love it. It feels very vintage, like Huey Lewis, right? Or Donald Duck's nephews, one of them was named Huey. There is something really innocent about it and sweet sounding, and then you're gonna say, well, how could he become president or a CEO of a company? Listen, anybody can use any name to get to any position, right? It should be about your merit and not the fact that your name is fun. To me, that makes you approachable. That makes you a really fun boss. Yeah, Huey. This is my boss. His name is Huey. It is so cute. I am very smitten with this name, and I think you guys should consider it. And then next for girls, I have Dottie. Dottie is absolutely adorable, definitely more of a nickname usually for something like Dorothy or Dorothea, but I think it stands alone very strong on its own and easy to say and spell. Everyone loves this as a nickname, so I want you to consider it as a given first name. I think it's absolutely the most fun, okay? Next up for boys, what about the name Moon? I actually know there are some YouTubers who've given their son this name. I believe Mr. Kate and her husband, they did Moon for their son, and I just thought, oh my gosh, it's so perfect for them. People really thought it was a joke. People really initially think, why would you do the name Moon? But to me, that just says they're creative and artistic and in touch with nature and excited about life, and they think outside the box. To me, it's so much fun to have a whimsical word name, so I think it's a great idea. It's not a whimsical word I would have chosen, but I think it's a fantastic and fun name, so I would love to see it being used more often. For girls, we have the name Echo. Now, I really wanted a name that ended in an O, like Cleo or Margot, but people are using those, so it didn't feel right to add them to this list because I wanted to encourage you guys to use more fun names than you're already using. So good job for the Cleos and the Margot parents of the world. But Echo is lovely. Echo is great. It makes you think of standing in a big cavern and shouting something fun or in a tunnel. I do think it is really, really cute and can be very feminine for a girl, and I'm curious if you've ever considered Echo for a baby name. Next for boys, we have Ozzy, which a lot of parents actually come to me for consultations and they're like, I really want to use the nickname of Ozzy, but I don't like Oscar or Oswald, which are traditionally kind of names that are used for that. But I was thinking, so usually I suggest things like Osmond or Oswin. There's so many different ways you can go with to get Ozzy, but I also suggest just using Ozzy on its own. It is such a fun name with those Z sound, the double Z and that beginning O sound. I think it's such a fun name. How can you not smile when you say Ozzy? It is just super cute. And for girls, this is my favorite on the list. Okay, this is absolute favorite, and I don't know if it's because my name is Stephanie or not, because I am very drawn to the F sound. I have a son whose name starts with an F. It is Effie or Fifi. I couldn't decide, and so I'm putting both, because if you really wanted a name with a nickname, but you want something super fun and whimsical, you could name your daughter Effie, and she could go by Fifi. It is so beautiful. Yes, it's usually a nickname for euphemia. You could do sophronia. There's a lot of different names where you could find that sound, but I think it stands on its own amazingly. I did a play a long time ago, and there was a character named Effie, and I was like, oh, this is the most beautiful name ever. It makes me so happy. It feels cheeky and fun and fresh. If a name makes you giggly and happy inside, that is a good sign. You want to be associating your child's name with fun things. So yes, some people really love that elegant and sophistication of a longer name, Eleanor and Margaret and Euphemia, but you can definitely consider using the nicknames if that is more your personality, if that is what speaks to you and makes you happy. This next one for boys is really great. It's Pippin, because it gives us Pip. This is a full name. This is not a nickname, but it gives you a nickname in it. So again, if you're a traditionalist and you're I really want a longer name, Pippin is fun. It's fun to say, it's fun to write, it's fun to look at, it looks cool. It is just a fantastic name. And I think it's underrated because people don't really consider it for boys. I don't know why, if it's not as kind of strong sounding as some other P names like Prescott and Pierce, but I think Pippin is a really soft, beautiful boy name. I love boy names that are not harsh. Again, this is all personal preference. Some names feel harsher to me. Pippin feels really sweet and soft, and therefore it feels really fun. Next up for girls, we have Honey. Oh, what a sweet name. This is so on point right now. Everyone's talking about Save the Bees. People love bees. Yes, there are other names that mean a bee cottage, like Beckett also means brook, but there are names that you can use that are more subtle. But I think Honey is, yes, it's also a term of endearment that people call each other, but I think it is so bold and powerful. So hi, my name is Honey Cofield. That's my last name. And I just think it goes with everybody's last name. Try it, introduce yourself as Honey last name, and see what you think. I think it is absolutely stunning, super fun, super playful and whimsical, and I think you should consider it. Up next is a name that actually comes from a video. One of my most viral videos on TikTok was dinosaur-inspired names, and this is a dinosaur-inspired name, Rex. I think this is so much fun. 3-letter names are popular. People are using them. They want something short and easy. It ends in that X. It is a very cool, sort of uncommon. You think of dinosaurs. I don't know. I think it's a fantastic name. And I know my sons loved dinosaurs when they were little. So how cool would it be if your name was inspired by a dinosaur? Okay, next we have a girl name that is similar to Pippin, but it's not Piper. It's Pippa. Technically a nickname from Philippa. It means lover of horses. I love Pippa, especially now when Piper is gaining in popularity. We love that. It is a fantastic name. But again, people feel comfortable using it. On the other hand, Pippa, not as popular. I don't understand. I feel like they're so similar, but there's just enough quirkiness to it, just enough difference that it doesn't feel like a quote-unquote, classic name, whereas Piper has that ER ending. Pippin has that IN ending. So for me, Pippa is underused, underrated, and underappreciated. It's just so gorgeous. Pippa feels really feminine with that A ending, but it's such a fun sound. It's such a really fun name to say, isn't it? Pippa. So I think it should be used a lot more often. What do you think? Moving on to Scooter. I know Scooter is more of a sporty nickname you give your friend, but I think it could definitely work with someone their entire life. A great ER ending name. It sounds fun and masculine and cool. cool, and you could go by Scoots. I don't know. I think it's a fantastic name. I don't know why we don't think about Scooter more often, but it's definitely one I'm adding to my list if I were to ever have another kid or even a pet. It is such a cute name. Next up for girls, we have Posy. Now, Posy is another floral name, just like Blossom, and it's really pretty. Posy means bouquet, like a small bouquet, so it's really underused as a floral name, especially when you look at Poppy and how popular that is. So I think Posy, it just has a different sound to it, and it's just, I mean, so whimsical, so lovely, so effortless and light sounding. I can't think of anything wrong with the name Posy. It is just so cute. And she could even go by like Po or Popo as a nickname if you wanted one. Next up is one of my names I've been pushing for the entire year. I always like to pick like my names for the year, and this year it's Sunny and Lenny. Sunny for a boy, Lenny for a girl, but honestly interchangeable. We all know names do not have a gender. I actually know somebody in the UK who used Sunny as a given name. Now, usually it can be a nickname for anything that ends in son. So like Emerson and Harrison, you can use Sunny as a nickname. But in this situation, I think you should use it as that first name. It is just effortlessly cool. It is sweet. It's literally your son, and I don't know. There's something really special about the name Sunny. Next up for girls, we have the name Trixie. I actually couldn't decide. I was like, should I do Tilly or Trixie? Tilly being a nickname for the name Matilda. Trixie is quite fun with that uncommon letter in there. People love an uncommon letter. And the reason it makes it cool and quirky is because we're used to hearing names with A's and E's and L's and R's and M's, but an X sound or a Z, as you'll see in my next name, like these are not as typical. And so there's something kind of like interesting about them, and that makes them intriguing, curious, you know, and then in turn we find them really fun and playful. And I think Trixie is an absolutely beautiful name. Trixie Cofield, I love that so much. So I mentioned uncommon letters. My last name for a boy is Zeke. Usually a nickname of Ezekiel, but I think it is so great on its own. As someone with two boys and they both have 4-letter names, I love a 4-letter boy name. It feels like a complete full name, but it also just is perfect, short, punchy, fun, playful. I think this is such a sweet name, and I can absolutely see it getting more and more popular. And finally for girls, we have the name Whimsy. I couldn't not do a video about whimsical and fun baby names without including Whimsy. So before on my TikTok, I would talk about this before it kind of became my brand, and I would say things about the word whimsy, and people in the comments would be like, hey, that's actually a good baby name. Well, why am I loving the name Whimsy? And it was just so fun to see those comments because it ends in that beautiful E sound. It's easy to say and spell because you know the word, and I think it's actually really beautiful and fun. And if you have the energy and boldness to use that name, then I say go for it, because Whimsy is a stunning, beautiful name. Thank you for watching all of these names that evoke fun. If you have an idea of a name that evokes fun, put it in the comments, or just put your favorite name from my list. I'd love to see it. Thank you for being here, and like this video. I would love to see you in the next one, and happy naming!